Here's how we get a 3.3% reply rate with our Twitter outreach platform. We've sent over 1 million cold DMs across our customers who are in B2B SaaS, crypto, trading, and a bunch of different niches. And I'm going to show you how that we've gone this specific customer a 3.3% overall response rate, over 330 replies they've gotten, and the exact framework how you can do the same for your business, whether that you're offering something in SaaS, in crypto, as an agency, as a service, right? You can take this and actually use it inside of your business. So the very first step to start getting actual responses is finding the leads, right? If you've done LinkedIn or cold email, these all you need to scrape somewhere to actually find the leads, right? So if you go over to scrapely.co and sign up, what you can do is go inside and you'll see onto the source leads tab, the very first place, is that you can start scraping accounts, right? So this is the best way to find leads on Twitter, is to scrape their followers or their following, right? So if I just go, I say to an account, Whisperflow, right? They have a text-to-speech software, right? And maybe you know that you have a similar kind of product, right? Maybe it's Spokenly or some other kind of competitor to them, right? Well, a great first way to make your lead lists are to actually scrape from competitors' accounts and also their founders' accounts, right? So I'm sure this is their CEO at Whisperflow, right? So what you can do, scrape both of these, just take the URL, put it inside of here, right? This is just a complete demo example just for speech to text, right? And you can put it here. Normally just followers works, right? If you want to put following as well. But then, and I'm just going to name this demo, this is how you start finding your leads. And the best part about Scrapely is that you have up to 10 million scraping credits every single month. And when you're on higher plans, you have even more. So you'll never run out of actual credits to start scraping from, right? Now, bigger accounts doesn't mean better leads, right? If you scrape a massive account, like a million plus followers, 200K plus followers, right? There'll be a lot of bot accounts and also people that are not in that niche on Twitter, right? So if I find somebody like Alex Hormozy who just talks about general business, there's a lot of different business owners who will be following him versus if I go more specific, right? So finding the right accounts is really 50% of this whole outreach success and how that we've done this for this customer, right? So now what do you want to do? After that, we actually have this imported here. You can keep on adding more accounts if you want. I can do that for the CEO quickly, right? I'll take the followers. Now what we're going to do, March 23rd, right? You can go to show filters. And what we're going to do is filter by the keywords and the things that we want, right? So number one, we don't want any third world countries, right? Number two, for the bio, this is going to be more important, right? But maybe I'm just targeting founders and C-suite executives, right? Who are probably using Whisperflow, right? What I can do, I can just put in here or, right? So if they have CEO in their bio or founder or co-founder, right? Or CMO, right? I can keep on going with these. Then they'll get pulled into our list, right? Then also we can exclude certain founders, co-founders, right? All of these from the list. So let's say that you don't want, Web3 or crypto people, right? And we want to set it to or, right? That's it, right? You can ask Grok for more detailed keywords, but just to keep it simple, this is how that you can do it to filter down your ICP and only get good quality leads, right? Then finally, at least 100 followers is good to keep out the bot account, and you can set it to any for the website choice, right? So this is the stuff that you want to be doing. Make sure that your keywords are actually targeting your ICP. Excluding them is also very important because once that you filter out third world countries with the location and no more bots, it's really just about finding those good keywords that match your ICP and the excluding ones that will exclude your actual people who are just not a good fit, right? So once you do this and you're all good with it, then you can click onto submit and then it's going to start scraping for you, right? That's about it. And then pretty soon it will be done. And then you can also click onto export if you want to. So now that we've gotten the best possible leads found from our competitors or adjacent tools or services in the space, we know that they're going to be interested in what that they have, so they'll probably be interested in what that we have. What that we can do is now we also have to DM them, right? Obviously, right? So the first thing here is to have some sort of relevance, which we've already done because we're scraping from competitors or adjacent place like products or services in the space, right? So I'll just say, hey, first name, saw that you're looking into speech to text solutions, right? Let's just say we've seen that using alternatives like Whisperflow has blah blah, it costs too much or whatever. We've helped 10,000 founders switch from Whisperflow to our company name or whatever, right? can I give you a free trial, right? That's an example of a DM that would probably work pretty well. Now, the good thing is you don't have to test and find the perfect one the very first time, but you can normally split test, right? And that's what you should be doing is split testing. So what you can do after this, go to the campaign builder, right? Choose your lead source, right? This one's not done yet, but let's just say I choose this one. And then you can start having variant one, you can have follow-ups, then up to 5 variants, right? So you can keep on testing. But this is something across industries that works well, right? You're showing why that you're reaching out. You're showing that you actually know that there might be an issue, right? Which can show expertise. You have some sort of social proof, and then a low commitment ask. Like, can I send you a free trial, right? A lead magnet, like, would you be interested if I could set this up for free or something, right? Something free or low cost, low commitment to get them in the door and saying yes, right? That's it. Now, there's a bunch of different DM scripts that have worked for us, but this is personally a kind of framework that we've used for this customer right here. It was very similar. We scrape other adjacent tools in the space because they're in the trading niche, right? And then we'll say, hey, saw that you're with this broker or this person, right? We can actually give you better compensation, better commissions, etc., right? Better support through our platform. Can I send you over a link, right? So that's something that worked really well for them, and it's still working really well. And that's why, right? You kind of need these 4 elements. If you have all 4, it's going to do better than if you only have 1 or 2. But again, this is entirely up to your niche and offer. I'm just showing something that has worked for what that we've done across these million plus DMs, right? Now, number 3, right? Once you have the leads and the actual DM, right? So hopefully your copy and your actual offer is good, right? Those are the 2 most important things. Now, the third thing, I see a lot of people, right? When that we onboard them or that they're on the self-serve, right? They're running a few accounts, maybe like 5 accounts, right? Is that they don't set up the accounts correctly, right? So they'll just look like bot accounts. They might not have any followers. It doesn't look very credible, right? It doesn't look like a real person on the actual profile, right? So probably the top 4 most important things, right? It's going to be the profile photo has to look real, like a real human, right? Something that works well is if you want to use AI, that can work. There's also a website, this person does not exist. There's a bunch of fake photos that are like not real people, but they look like real people. So you can use that once you're setting up at scale, right? Then the bio, ideally, you either have a company page or your company website there so they can actually check. Because you have to think about your DM almost like an ad. Then once that they see your DM, 99.9% of the time, people will at least check your bio, right? If that they are going to be responding to you, right? So you want to make sure that your bio and your setup and everything looks good, so you're not just scaring people away like, oh, it looks like a scam or something, right? Then your pinned tweet ideally has some form of social proof. So this one for us was 15 qualified sales calls with cold DMs, one of our very first case studies, right? And then recent activities. Just are you posting? Are you commenting a bit, right? Do you look at least somewhat real, right? Because once that we're running, we have hundreds of accounts that are running on Scrapely, right? We have automations and setups to make them look real. And that's something that if it's not there, can be the best cold DM and everything, but people will still respond if you have, obviously a good DM, a good offer, and good leads to be setting to, but it will just increase it even more and help you very easily for a one-time setup. You set up your account, post a few times a week. You can even use AI for them as long as it doesn't look like AI, right? And then that's it, right? You can just automate that. So this is really important. You don't want everything to stop working just because you didn't take a few minutes out of your week to maintain the account, right? That's very important. This also helps it not land in spam because Twitter has a spam folder and then it has just a main request folder. And if you're in the spam folder, you'll have 5 to 10 times lower reply rates. And this helps keep the account healthy and making it look real, right? Finally, the last section is section number 4, timing and volume, right? So once you have all of this set up, you have one account, maybe you have 10, maybe you have 30, right? For some customers that we have. What you want to do is not just scale up from 0 DMs per day on each account to 1,000, right? You want to make sure that the timing is actually there, right? And this will depend on your account health, right? If you just got it brand new, then you don't want to be scaling it up too much, right? So as I already explained, if you're going to scale to 500 per day, which is the limit with Twitter, it's around 450 per day, right, to 500. You don't want to scale all the way up just from like week 1, right? Because if you're sending lower DMs and gradually sending it up, well, you have a good reply rate that's way better than a way worse reply rate, like 0.3% on 300 DMs sent every single day, right? So you want to ramp it up very slowly. With Scrapely, it's super easy, right? With sender accounts, let me just move this, right? This is just a sample demo account, right? But you can assume right here, you can just click onto the little arrow here once that you have accounts. click onto daily limit, and then you can scale this up, right? We recommend maximum 100 DMs per day per account. If you want to send more, then just add more accounts, and it's really easy to set those up, very cheap, right? Yeah, we recommend 10 per day for the first few days, then ramping it up to 25, 50, etc., and then going up to 100 and just staying there, right? That way, all of your follow-ups and stuff, those also count towards your extra DMs. So if you send, let's say, 100 cold DMs, you'll probably be sending like 25-ish follow-ups in that day, plus the AI setter and stuff. Like there'll be other features that will send messages for you. So you want to make sure that you're well beneath that limit, so that way you're not landing in spam, right? So yeah, here's a recap. You have to find the good leads, right? As I just talked about. You have to test your winning DM copy. So don't just take that, what I just showed, at face value and not add anything. It's a good place to start. If that doesn't work, make sure to keep on testing and look at my channel, because there'll be a bunch more cold DM videos that I've made, and you can look at those and also ask me on Twitter by just asking and like DMing me, right? Set up your accounts well, right? Make them look real, and scale slowly so that way you're not burning your accounts, because this is infrastructure. You don't just want to be setting it up every month from scratch. That's really annoying, and we've had that happen. And it's just like, if you set it up once, it will work for months and months on end, and you won't have to worry, right? So anyways, if you enjoyed this, thank you. If you want us to set up this whole Twitter outreach system for you, so that way we're sending thousands of DMs to your target market that are super personalized, then we'll set it up in 7 days. Click the link right here. The doc will be below, and the booking link will be in the description and the pinned comment. Here's our website if you want to check it out. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Hope they have a good day.